Okay, good morning. Well, here we are again. Now, your task as Year 8 was to come up with a desk lamp. And I'm fortunate in as much as I have a couple of three of these little beasties that are known as light strips. So I've got a lot of single LEDs in there on an aluminium backing with a really crappy little frame around it. But first thing I want to do is to check. Doesn't like that. Let's have a look at the resistance. Okay. First thing it wants to do, or I want to do, is to check the resistance of this. There we go. Wow. Okay. 600k. Check another one. We'll see if it's the same. Now, you need to understand. Need to understand that these are pretty cheap and nasty. Okay, so they're about the same. Now, if I was to connect these to the power source, that's black to black and red to red. So there's my black and red. So if I was to connect them red to red and black to black, turn my power source on and slowly increase the voltage. Don't like that one. There's 12 volts. Don't like that one because I've overhit it before and blown some of the LEDs. So I'll try this one. See what it's got to say this time. Whoop, same with that one. It'll teach me from playing games with LEDs, won't it? Right, these cost me about $1 each, and what I'm looking for is two that I haven't overpowered, so all of the LEDs on them work. There we go. There's one. Maybe you can see all of the LEDs work. And we'll test this one here, black to black, red to red, and see if all the LEDs work on this one. There we go. So I've got two that the LEDs both work. Now, they can handle about 15 volts each before they start dying on me. So, what I have here, get the wire free. Well, that's helpful. What I have here, apart from a broken multimeter cord, silicon, not nice. Right, is a power supply. Oh wow. A power supply from some Christmas lights. This here. Power supply for some Christmas lights, and I don't know whether or not you'll be able to read that, but it tells me it's an LED driver, which is handy. Let's see. 220 to 240 volt in, 0.1 amp. Out is 31 volt. Right, 3.6 watts. Ooh, okay. Alright, so if I try feeding 30 watts into my 30 amps. Good grief. If I try feeding 30 volts into my LEDs, what will happen there, guaranteed, what will happen there is I'll end up blowing my LEDs. So I'm thinking wow. Right. That reckons 59 volt. That must be with no load. But what I've got to do is work out a way of bringing that voltage down. Now, these were set up in parallel. Right, so that's black to black there, and red to red there. So I've joined these up in parallel. My power source again, because I can control the voltage of that. And as I get towards 12 volt, they both light up pretty bright. Both light up pretty bright. That's at 12 volt. But, pull those apart. If I go black to red on these, and then I have one black and one red left over, that'll be in series. Right, let me explain electricity into this, back out that one, into the next one, back out and back again. How does that look? Well, okay, let's see what happens when we crank up the voltage a bit. 12 volts, nothing. 15 volts, nothing. Well, 24 volts, very dim. You see that? 24 volts, very dim. So I'm thinking, if I'm lucky, that maybe if I get 3 of these, test this one first. Up to 12 volts. Yep, all good. So if I get 3 of those and put them in series, like that, so I've got 3 there. Right, like I said, really sad little aluminium frames on them. So if I've got 3 there in series, that out of the road, and I hook up my other power supply the right way round. What I'm going to do is turn that off. And I already know they can handle 15 volt. And what's 3 times 15? Yeah, okay. Well, let's try 45, and we were showing 60, right, without any load, which is pretty rude. Okay, I think I've got those all laid out properly. Alright, let's see what happens when I turn it on. Ooh! Didn't like that. Right, that's too low. Turn it off. Get rid of the third one. Right, remember I said that 60 volt was no load? Well, as soon as I put a load on it, did you see that the lights came on pretty bright to start off with and then faded? Well, here we go. Now I've only got 2 in series. Oh yes, I love it. What do you reckon? So just quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my desk light up there, right, underneath my bookshelf. Right, so I've got one up there, but what I'll do is quickly attach another one. Right, one of these. I know they're good. Right, I don't like those little aluminium frames, so I'll get rid of the frame. I think the aluminium frames make them look tacky. There we go. And turn that over. Right, this double-sided tape's magic stuff. Get away with a lot of things with double-sided tape. Okay. Go. Now I've got 2 LEDs under there. Now remember, I've got to join these black to red and red to black. So black to red. Right, and they will be in series. Okay, so I've got them up there. Now I've got a bit of a problem. How do I get a permanent, let me see how well I can organise this. How do I get a permanent, let's see how that goes. Can you see anything? Yeah, you can. There we go. Right, so there you can see I've got 2 LEDs up there. Now what I need to do is to actually make those twist joints permanent. And the way I can do that is with a soldering iron. So this is the soldering iron. The tip gets hot. We use solder that the Americans call solder, that drives me crazy. You can use a soldering iron. And we can join all our wires together. But before we do, once we have joined our wires together, I need to be able to make sure that there's no short circuit in there. Right, so that the wires, different wires, can't touch together. And the way I do that is with some stuff called heat shrink. Now, heat shrink is wonderful gear, I love it. Yep. Get it on there. Cut that a bit long, didn't I? Yep. There we go. Okay. Right. Okay, so there I've got, whoa, that's pretty ugly. Heat shrink on. Three wires. And my power source is there. Okay, right, because we've got new workshops, I'm pretty sure the boss would not appreciate it one iota if I decided that I was going to poke holes. Hence I'm using two-sided tape for everything. Now if this is hot enough, right, there it goes. Melts the solder on there. Right, the solder's nice and silver. Right. Oh dear, not really quite hot enough, but it'll do for now. Okay. Right, and that one, wow, that was silly. Okay, soldering iron, right, a little bit of heat, and that'll shrink that down so it won't pull off. Yeah, it's smaller now. There we go. Okay. Now, I know this seems to take forever, but my editing's not real good just at the moment, so. Okay. That goes to red. Okay. Oh, they're no good to me. I wonder where my other ones are. Never find a good pair of pliers when you want them.